H.R. 2336, the York River Wild and Scenic River Study Act, would amend the Wild and Scenic Rivers Act to designate segments of the York River for study for potential inclusion in the National Wild and Scenic Rivers System. In doing so, H.R. 2336 would allow York River community organizations to partner with the National Park Service to conduct a study that would provide the community that cares for this natural resource with the type of information that is vital to decision-making. Small business owners, local community organizations, state and local government representatives, local and national land trusts, fishermen, school representatives, and historical and environmental conservationists all agree that continuing to profit from the river is dependent on recognizing the importance of the river and its unique qualities. While visiting York River this spring, I heard from these same community members and leaders about the importance of the river to the people, the economy, and the wildlife of the York River watershed. I learned that the river serves as a home for species like the New England cottontail, the Maine endangered box turtle, and the threatened harlequin duck. The salt marshes of the York River watershed serve as a nursery for around 28 species of fish that are all vital to the regional ecosystem. And the York River is a key waterway in the history of the nation. The first of the English settlers arrived in 1630, and there are important sites of early European settlements that have been identified along the river. York River is also a place where people go to work. Small fishing operations carry on trades that depend on good water quality and access to the waterfront. Farmers in the York River watershed grow pumpkins, potatoes, and other produce that keep Maine communities healthy. And the York River is a place where children are learning in an outdoor classroom. Students gather data on the York River that inform community decisions about the environment and the economy. Community investments have resulted in the preservation of natural and historic aspects that draw visitors from throughout Maine and the nation. But the York River needs additional protection so that this vital resource does not suffer under increasing development pressures. The York River watershed is located within the northern urban reaches of the greater Boston area, and despite a small decline in year-round population during the past decade in the town of York, development along the banks of the river has increased significantly. The York River and Wild Scenic River Study Act would commission a feasibility study to conduct a much-needed comprehensive overview of the river and determine whether the river qualifies as a wild and scenic partnership river. Thank you again, Chair Bishop and Ranking Member Grijalva and members of the subcommittee for holding today's hearing and for the opportunity to speak today about the importance of the river to the state of Maine. I also want to thank a couple of other people who have been very helpful to us. Joey Conley, the co-chairman of the York Harbor Board, Stephen Burns, the Community Development Director for the town of York, Maine, Carol Donnelly, the chair of the Friends of York River, Doreen McGillis, Executive Director of the York Land Trust, Pat White from the Maine Lobstermen's Association, Paul Dest, Director of the Wells Estuarian Reserve, Connie Weeks of the Elliott Historical Society, and Scott Stevens, Director of the Museums of Old York. As you can see, this is a very broad-based community effort bringing together people who care about the environment, fishing, the economy of the area, and is widely supported.